Hello folks! Good morning everyone and welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Voodoo Val and I'm going to be your host for our final Photoshop DCC challenge before we go on our break. I'm super excited to be here and I'm very excited as well to jump into what we have planned for today because I saw a lot of people in the chat saying that they were anxious to do this challenge. So I'm going to jump into a little bit about what we're working on today, let you folks know how you can get involved in the challenge, where you can find the assets and so on, and then we will get started. So if you folks head over to the landing page for the challenge, which I'm going to pop over here and show you right quick, on behance.net/challenge/Photoshop, you will find all of the challenges that we have done this week kind of lined up here. All of them have been unlocked now because we are on the final challenge, and you will be able to hit this get started button, and also if you cannot finish watching this video, you can always come back later, or if you watch it and you find that you need to come back and relearn some things or go over some previous points in the challenge, you can always come back and rewatch it. I also want to point out, somebody mentioned in the chat that some of the links in the Discord were not working. I did test downloading the starter files here on the landing page, as well as in the description of the video below on behance.net/live, and those do work. So if you're looking to get the challenge files, the starter files, that is where you can get it. If you're over on YouTube and you're wondering where are all these links and what is Voodoo Val talking about, come over to behance.net/live because that's where I'm reading the chat. That's where all our friends are hanging out. Oh, music got a bit loud. Here we go. Let me crank it down. I had that issue yesterday too. Hopefully this is good enough for you folks. Anyone else love that Val's bookmarks are in a rainbow? Yes, I tried. I tried to kind of color coordinate them across the board. But yeah, so head over to behance.net/live because that is where we are hanging out. Also, welcome in Cody Bear. It's good to see you, my friend. I see Angie, I see Sean, I see Lorena, Sam, Susan, Chad, Neil, Sig. It's good to see all of you folks coming back to hang out with me for our challenge number 5. I'm going to also show you where you can get involved in the Discord so that you can post your projects and stuff. Sam has been a feedback machine in the Discord, so if I don't get to your challenge entries when I do a little review of the Discord in a moment, I know that Sam, as well as the other mentors, will jump in there and give some feedback. So you can click the link that I know is going to be posted in the chat, or you can go to this thing right here. If you go to bit.ly/PS Discord, making sure the P and the S are capitalized so you get to the proper server, you will actually be taken to our Discord, which looks like this. So this is our Discord, and if you scroll down onto the left-hand side, you'll see there's a little current challenge tab here, and if you click that and go into that that channel, you will see where everybody is posting their challenges for the current round of challenges. These are so cool. Diagonally, Christina, working on this before I saw the challenge for today, I definitely misunderstood day 4, and I'm gonna start over because it's very rushed and messy, but I need some feedback on this first so I can have a better idea of what I gotta fix up. I'm kind of stuck and don't want to upload it yet if I don't really like it. To be perfectly honest, the moment I saw this, I thought it was really, really cool. I thought it was awesome because I was able to, I love the colors, obviously. Music is still fairly loud. All right, I will maybe turn the music here. I'm gonna pause it for now so you guys can hear me. Thank you for the heads up, Sam. I appreciate it. All right. So, I actually really love the colors and things that you already had in this. The first thing that catches my eye on this, however, is I can't see the rest of this bottle continuing down through the glass of this bottle here. I can see the line through everything for the surface compared to the wall, but I can't see the other bottles. and I feel like I should. So I would definitely work on that. And then I would also add, like, this has a really lovely shadow here. I would look at how the shadow interacts with this flower pot and the flowers and mimic that same kind of shadow over here for these objects that are in the scene. And I think that that would give you a more realistic look to the project. But very well done. Loving the colors, like I said. I think it has an excellent vibe, and I can't wait to see what you come up with next. Let's see. This one from Valaris. These look great together. Bold saturation. Oh, I think that you're maybe I don't know if you're replying to this one here, Valaris, or what, but this actually looks really cool. I love that not only has these items been added into the scene, but it also looks like you did a very good job of like pulling the sand up on the bag so that it looks like it's dirty. And these shadows work really, really well to show that the sun is coming from the same direction and interacting with them. I love it. I would almost, part of me wants some of the the shadow to be a little softer and get blurrier the farther it gets from the item, but that's kind of me being nitpicky. I think it looks great. I think this logo on the bag looks really cool, and I think you've done a great job. Let's see, we've got this one from Talitha. I hope I'm saying that right. And I love that you've added all of the different elements that you've used for the challenge, and then you've showed what you have created. This is a lot of different elements to be adding in here, and I love it. I think it looks awesome. I would say I think maybe a little more shadow and depth could be added to the punch here, the lemonade. And then on the surface of the screen here, I think that you could add a little bit of darkness to it, because if you look at what a computer, like a laptop monitor or an iPad monitor or even a phone screen looks like outside when it's very, very bright outside, like it is in this photo, sometimes you do get a little bit of dark distortion where you have trouble seeing what's on it. You have to crank the brightness all the way up, but it's never really that clear. So I think if you played with that a little bit, you could maybe add some more realism to it. And then make sure you keep track of how these shadows look in your image. You can see they're pretty harsh shadows, and they're all in a very particular direction. I would say mimic those shadows on the objects that you have added in so that it all looks like it belongs. But also, very well done. I love that you've added so many different elements in here, and I think it looks really great. This one, combining images from snow. This is wonderful. Photo asset. Let's see. So it looks like you've taken these bottles and this picture of this deck, and it looks like you've added the bottles in here, and I think it looks wonderful. Again, I would say you've got the bottom of the bottles here lined up on the deck, but I think that it does need a little bit more shadow underneath to make it really look like it's meeting that surface right there. That's the only thing that sticks out to me. Otherwise, I find that the images you chose, the colors work very, very well. I think that the light within the bottles really goes well with the scene. You could even, because you have these dark spaces here on the side of these wood pieces that are close to the bottle, you could even take a soft round brush and sample some of the color of the light within the bottles and lightly brush some light around to show that that light is interacting with the wood around it. That could also add some realism to this piece, which I think is cool. But well done, Snow. Thank you very much. Let's see. I think these are some more of our challenges from yesterday, changing the colors of dice from Abdallah and Dion Scar, and more of the challenges making the informational assets and everything. You guys have done such a great job. I wish I could spend more time on these, but I do want to jump into our challenge that we're doing today, so that is what I'm going to do. If you jumped into the landing page and you downloaded your Challenge 5 starter file, you will have this graphic here. So I want to quickly go over some of the assets that I've made available for you in this folder. First of all, we're using a free-to-use image from Unsplash, but I wanted to make sure that I highlighted the photographer here. His name is Ruman Amin, and I've given you a link to his Unsplash so that you can download the image for yourself, or you can look at all of his other photography, because he's a fabulous photographer, and I wanted to make sure that I credited him for this challenge. I also have the dice images that we've been using from Ellen Art. So if you open that up, you'll see that you have all of our dice that we've been kind of going through for this. I've also added a little shout out to her here with her Instagram. So if you guys would like to check out all of these awesome dice she made, which she has allowed us to use the images of for our classes and our photos here, definitely do that. Thank you very much, Ellen and Ruman Amin, for your wonderful photos. I've also included the logo that I mocked up for the first challenge, and what we're going to do is I am going to kind of create a mock-up from scratch. Now, there's a lot of different things that go into making a mock-up, and as you know, we have limited time for this class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the basic point of a mock-up, and that is show you how to create an image where you can take your logo, your designs, and everything and apply it to an object in perspective that you can easily edit over and over again, and show you how to, apply like your logo, or you guys have seen like sometimes they do like cup wraparounds, things like that, just getting your design onto an object so that you can mock up what your product would look like. And this is how I do it. It's going to be kind of like, I'm sure you've opened up a mock-up before where you have like a layer, and that layer says like your art here. I'm going to do this in caps so that it looks your art here. And you see something like that, and then usually it has a color applied to it, so we can put like an orange here, and it does something like that. So that's what we're gonna do today. And the first thing that I am going to do is I've hidden everything, and I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm just gonna drag a rectangle out like this, okay? And then I'm going to right click this, and I'm going to say convert to smart object. And then I'm going to double click the image for that. And what that has done, as you can see, it's kind of hard, so maybe I will change the color of this real quick, is it has it's opened the rectangle from my starter file. So I'm actually going to hide the background here, and I am going to come over here. I'm going to grab my logo layer, I'm going to unhide it, and I'm going to drag this up because I'm going to put this into my rectangle layer. I'm going to hit Control T, and I'm gonna resize this because I want this to be in the center here. Okay, so you can see I've got my grids lined up, and it is kind of snapping it to the center of my canvas here. And I'm not gonna add any like crazy design elements, because the first thing I'm gonna do is just to show you how this works, and then show you how you can go off and go crazy and do some designing. So I am going to hit Control S on this and save this rectangle. And then you'll notice when I pop over here, if I hide the logo, my rectangle that I had drawn has now changed to exactly what I have in here. And you can see if I were to go over here to the rectangle that I've got open and maybe grab my rectangle tool, and just for an example, if I just start dragging random rectangles out here, right, and then I hit Control S and save it, then you'll see over here it updates, okay? So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to undo those, and I'm going to resave it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, I'm going to make sure I have this rectangle selected, and I'm going to say Control T to free transform, and I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to say distort, and I'm going to drag the corners of this smart object into place, essentially. I'm gonna add this, and I'm gonna put these here, and it kind of puts it into perspective on this box, on the top of this box where I want it, just like so. Boom. And I think maybe I would kind of noodle with it maybe a little bit more if I had the time, but I'm just really going to leave it how I have it here, and that's going to be good enough for me. Let's see, I have to try not to be too precious with it, because if left to my own devices, I will be here all day adding this to my box, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so I've added this here, and it's kind of in perspective. It's on the top of my box, and if I come over here now, you'll see that I can still edit it while it's in perspective. So if I want to do something, for example, if I want to make a new layer, and I want to put, like, I don't know, maybe I want to grab my rectangle, and I want to put something like this here. Maybe I want like a little banner behind it. I'm gonna extend that out like so, and I'm gonna put that at the center. Maybe I'll double click that and add a stroke to it, like a dark gray stroke, just to make it match, something like that. And then I hit save. Then when I come over here, it's added that to our box. Now I kind of need to alter this a little bit, just so that it's a little straighter. I'm going to go back to distort here, and kind of place this more properly. But one thing that you might notice is that, okay, it's on there, it's in perspective, but it's not really, it doesn't really look like it belongs in this scene, because it's pretty harsh, right? So one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some effects to this, because it's cool. Yeah, I've got it in the scene, but I kind of want it to look more like it belongs, like it's got some depth to it and whatever. And you'll notice that my image that I've chosen, one of the reasons why it doesn't really look proper is because my design that I've put on here, it doesn't, it's very sharp, and my box and my image kind of goes out into the distance and blurs. It's got like kind of a blur on it. So I'm going to add a blur to this so that it looks the way that it's supposed to look. So I'm going to, with my rectangle selected, and I'm actually going to change this. I'm going to change this to our commonly recognize your art here, just so that I can see that. I'm going to change it to a color. I'm going to change it to orange so it's there. And I'm going to come up to filter. I'm going to go to blur gallery, and I'm going to add an iris blur. And I'm going to rotate this, and I'm going to shrink it in, and I'm going to put that over here. I'm going to drag this further up here. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to zoom in here. And you can see, can you see the edge, how as it goes off in the distance, it's starting to blur. And what I want to make sure that I do is position this in a way where it starts to blur the same as my box, because I want it to feel like it expands into the distance and does the same thing as the image that I have chosen. And for your image, if you decide to use a different image, you may be adding different adjustments and different effects than this. But for my image, I'm trying to match it to my image. So you may, like I said, you may choose some different things. But I am trying to match it with what I am working with here. And you can follow along with me, or you can test out your own ideas. I think that looks pretty good, and I'm going to say okay. And I'm going to let it, it's going to do its little thinking, and it's going to load, and it's going to apply that blur. Okay, so now I've got this smart filter here, and I can hide this and unhide this, and I think that looks all right to me. I think I actually prefer this maybe with a darker rectangle, so I'm going to hide that stroke, and I'm going to open my properties panel here, and I'm going to change my little banner, my little band that I have, to this dark gray. Like so, because I think I like that a little bit better. And then I'm going to hide my panel, and I'm going to say save, and that is pretty cool. I might even, if I want, because I have some textures, I might even add some textures. So let me go to my libraries real quick, because I believe I have something went wrong. Maybe I am not, maybe, there we go. I was like, why is it not loading? I'm going to grab this metal texture in lieu of a more accurate texture. Maybe I would spend the time, if I had more time, to choose a a better texture maybe, but I'm gonna just drag this out over my image, and I'm going to put this, kind of group my stuff together here, and then I'm going to put this on a clipping mask so that it adheres to the shape of my logo and what have you, and I am going to flip through my blending modes until I find something that I think looks good, just to add a subtle texture. I think I'm going to do overlay, and I'm going to hit save. Boom, let's let it save. And then we're gonna go take a look at it. And the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a slight gradient to it, because in my, let me see how this looks. Yeah, in my my file here, you'll see the box gets a little bit darker as it goes back into the image. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to hit my little adjustments layer thing here, and I'm gonna say gradient. And I'm going to change my color. Let me, hold on here. I'm gonna oh, here we go. My little gradient fill changed to my other monitor. I am going to, let's see. I'm gonna leave it like so. I'm gonna change its direction like that. And let me see, that looks pretty all right. And what I'd like to do, actually, let me see if I can, I'm going to switch to black, and I'm going to redo it and just add a black. There we go. Let's change it to this direction so that it's kind of coming in from the side there. I'm going to say okay. And I'm going to right click this, and I am going to create clipping mask. So it's just over the top of our image here. And then I'm going to turn its fill down, so that it's not so harsh, but it still gets the point across, so that I have like a little bit of darkness to it. And that's how I kind of blend this image in. And let's see, I've got like a couple of minutes here where I can do a little bit more. So maybe let's get slightly fancier with this, because one thing you may also want to do is, okay, I've got the logo on this box, and that's cool, I guess, but when you look at this, you don't really understand what it's about. Maybe if you understood the brand, if you're familiar with the brand, you'd see that logo and be like, oh, okay, this is like the dice logo that I love. But with this image, it doesn't have any of the product at all around it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open, I've cut out some single dies in preparation for the stream, but if you don't have any dies cut out, or you don't have previous starter files, I've got a bunch of images here where you can select some dies and cut them out for use. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to see about placing some dies around in the scene. Let me see if I can. Yeah, here we go. I like this one because it's got lighting similar to what we're working with here. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to place them around. And I would say move forward, kind of creating your own mock-up and adding some items into the scene that are relevant to your brand, right? Because people can look at a box with your logo on it all day, but if they don't know what you're trying to advertise, then the message gets a little bit lost. So I'm going to do like this, I think. If I wasn't pressed for time, I might spend a little more time kind of adding some, like making the stacks kind of more dynamic. But you can add some items into here. You could come in and add maybe some shadows like we did in previous challenges. If I duplicate one of these, and I'm going to make it black just to make a shadow, I'm going to add a Gaussian blur onto it like so. I'm going to say okay, I'm going to transform that, and I'm going to, let's see, start kind of bumping this out and creating a little shadow for myself. There we go. All right, I'm gonna kind of bump that up. And you can kind of start playing with things just to make it look a little bit more realistic. I don't have the time to put the shadows on everything, but you guys can kind of see where I'm going with this. If you're gonna make a mock-up for yourself that works for your own brand, make sure you add relevant items into it. So that's all the time I have to kind of jump into this for today. I hope that you guys learned something. I hope that this is useful for you, that you guys can create your own mock-ups. I can't wait to see what you folks post in the Discord, but I've got to say goodbye for now. So thank you all for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will see you folks another time. Adios, everyone.